So here is my dream about the 12th house. It started where I was showing a lady who I think was an estate agent around my house. Now, it wasn't a house that I live in or have lived in this life. It was a figment of my imagination in my dream. So we were standing in the kitchen. I'd apparently shown her all around the house. We finished off in the kitchen. I was leaning against the Arga type stove. And I said to her, and I was so excited, I said, would you like to see my basement before you go? And she went, oh, yeah, okay then. And I was so excited about taking her into the basement. Anyway, I led her down these steps and we got to the bottom of the basement and it wasn't actually a room at all. So somehow it was propping the house up, but it was actually a forest. So there was a forest in my basement and it just stretched on and on and on. It was never ending. And first of all, I was taking her round to this basement forest and she was completely silent. She was just walking with me and observing, but looking a little bit perplexed as to how this wasn't actually a room at all. It was just never ending. Everything was quite dark, but I was fine about it. I was really loving this dark forest. And first of all, we came across my friend's husband who was running a business out of my basement. And he was running a wedding planning business. He was really enthusiastic. This is not his job in real life at all. He was really, really enthusiastic about it and he had tons of computing equipment all around him. But he was positioned at the bottom of a water slide. And I said, are you sure that you want to have your office right here? Because there's a water slide coming down. Now, in many, many other dreams, I've had a recurring theme of there being a water slide. And quite often, there's only ever women on this water slide. And it tends to be the kind of thing where me plus 3, 4 or 5 other women will be on some kind of ride. And it's really good fun. So like a log flume, and we'll be going to different places in the world, going to different times in history. But we tend to be on a water slide ride to go and view all of these things. So sometimes it will be, the water can go uphill as well. So we go up like you would do on a log flume ride. We can go uphill, round the corner, round the bends, down things. Sometimes it's more of a rickety old roller coaster type thing. Sometimes we're on a dinghy and it's more like you get at a swimming park, but it's always immense fun. Anyway, my friend's husband said no, he was definitely happy to keep running his business right at the bottom of a water slide. So I just let him do it. I don't know what's going on there, but I did think, well, you and your computing equipment are going to get soaked at some point, but I just let him get on with it. I thought that's fine. So we moved to different parts of this forest that was still meant to be a basement, and I was still showing this lady around. And by this point, she'd put her clipboard down. She wasn't making any notes. She was just looking perplexed. So next, we went into a denser part of the forest, and there was a huge industrial photocopying machine. And it was churning out pages. And I said, this is where the book of my life is being written. And it's being printed at the moment. So this big photocopying machine was printing out the story of my life. Now, if you imagine a big stack of A4 paper that comes in a ream, like photocopier paper, I would say that it had got to about 3 stacks of that. That's how much paper there was there. So it was enormous. And this machine was like chugging away, printing. And I went to the paper and I flicked it and I realised that the vast majority of it was white. So there was nothing on the page. Now, I think this very much represents the fact that I have not yet finished my book, done an edit on my book, sent it out, because it keeps... what happens is the passage of time makes me think that there are different aspects of my book that need to be shared, and I still have many questions that I am asking myself about what needs to be shared. So I'm still bouncing that around. And it was kind of interesting looking at the blank pieces of paper, and I was glad of it, because I thought, as yet, the public do not know much about me and my life, and this felt quite safe in a way. So still the machinery was all chugging away, it was all there were vast amounts of things to tell, but it wasn't yet printed. Yet as I flicked through the pages of the book, I noticed that there were some sections that were printed, and it was really colourful. So I brought it out to show to this lady, and it had printed out in rainbow ink, and it was the astrology charts of various people who I know, and charts of people who I've already done the interpretations of their natal chart for them. And all of the ink was rainbow coloured, and what I took this to mean was it's how I feel about other people. I see people in all their unique colours, and as though everybody has their true colours, and they can be seen fully and properly via their charts, and how much I value other people and see them in so many different colours. And this was what was printed, and I felt that the dream was trying to tell me that this is what I feel really good about moving forward with. So that was a really nice part of the dream for me, to realise that the colours written on the page were actually my interpretations and my feelings about other people. And then what I said to this lady was, she was just sort of hanging around the photocopier, maybe waiting for something to come out here. And I said, I just feel like I want to run to the edge of the forest. Maybe she said something like, how big is this basement? Something like this. And I said, I'm going to run to the edge of it. I'm going to find out where this forest ends. So I ran, and it was dark, and I had nothing to light the way. I just went myself. And I reached the edge of the forest. And what was there? There was no one there, no one else at all. Nothing was there. There was nothing to stumble upon. There were no more computers. There were no more people running businesses from my basement. There was nothing else. It was just more trees and more black. And when I got right to the edge of the forest, there was a path, and the path led to another forest. And there was no one there. And I realised that this is infinity. We can go as far as we want to go. We can explore as much as we want to explore. We can go where we want, and we can choose how far we go, whether that's to the outer edges of our own forest, and what we will find there is another forest. It's never ending. And when I got there, I reached for my phone and I went to take a selfie. And I felt the presence of spirits around me, and they were not beneficial spirits. They were quite dark, and I was on my own. And before I took this picture, I had a sense that if I took the picture, the spirits of these dark entities around me would show on the picture. And I didn't want them to show on the picture, and I didn't want them to be there. So I prayed and I made them go away. And then I took the picture and it was just my face glowing right at the edge of this dark forest. And that was it. And then I came back again. And I felt very much that this was representative of the 12th house, of our unconscious material, of the things that we've got hiding in our own basement, and how we view that, and how far we're prepared to go with it, and whether we want to look at it. Now, I have Pluto in my 12th house, so I'm here to transform what's hidden, both in myself and others, and collectively. It's I'm not going to say it's an easy position to have, but it does show me, astrology helps me to see that that is part of my life purpose. It feels like a big part of my life purpose. And since I have Scorpio rising and I've got Moon, Vertex and Jupiter in my 8th house, this all corresponds. So the 8th house and Scorpio and Pluto all revolve around the same topics of getting into the nitty-gritty of life, death, rebirth, into all the taboo areas that people don't really want to discuss, into psychic, unconscious material that most people tend to repress and shut out. I'm okay with it. And my dream suggests that I'm okay with it. And I am the person who says, I'm not afraid to run to the edge of the forest, even if I'm on my own, even if it's dark, even if all I find there is another forest and myself and any dark entities who wanted to try and come with me. At the end of it all, I will still find myself and it will be worth it. So I hope that me trying to just go through that dream with you makes some kind of sense of 12th house material, of psychic, unconscious, repressed material, and of going there, and of bringing it forward, and of owning every aspect of ourselves. Thank you for listening to this.